Hey, what's up? Just coming to you again. Sorry about last week. I didn't get a video out. Time just kind of slipped away from me, and by the time I thought about it, it was too late. So, kind of talk about last week and this week. Last week we started. We're kind of continuing this idea of vocation and call, and it seems that we've hit a chord with people, with students, and they seem to be responding pretty well. And so we talked about it for a few weeks, and now last week and this week I'm showing them videos of how people are living out that calling. So last week we watched a video about a producer that works in Hollywood. He actually produced the X-Men movies and Planet of the Apes. And he's a believer, and so he talked to a group of students about what that looks like for him and how he views his idea of who Jesus has called him to be in the midst of that industry. And so yeah, it was really good. And so he talked a lot about using excellence. He also talked a lot about um, not being so crazy as to flaunt his faith, but more of living in relationships with people and being there for them and having chances to pray with them and chances to visit them in the hospital and chances to speak into their life. And how, because he was their friend and because he earned the right to speak into their life, they were more able to listen and more responsive to what he might have to say about who Jesus was and who he wanted to be in their life. So it was good. This week we're watching another video of a guy who um, gave up everything when he followed Jesus and moved to the inner city and lives in this idea of this new monasticism, which is they live together. People who are following after Jesus and are trying to make a difference in the neighborhoods that they live in. His name's Shane Claiborne, and his ministry is called The Simple Way, and they live in inner city Philadelphia. So he takes a group of students through um, their house and talks to them about his idea of what Jesus has called him to do and what that looks like, and also shows them kind of what they do in the city. And it's just a good image of what shapes us and forms us. It's a good image of saying, you know what, this Jesus maybe meant what he said, and if he meant what he said, what does it potentially look like to if you believe he's called you to give up everything to live and to breathe and to be a part of this. So it's good, and the video is about 10 minutes. Then we'll kind of talk about identity a little bit, what shapes us, what forms us. We'll talk a little bit about what might it look like if Jesus and the gospel were the thing that shaped and formed us. I think I'm going to introduce a term tonight. It's one that I have heard before, but kind of just started reading about this week, and it's called Christian atheism. And it's actually a book by a guy, I've got it right here, named Greg Groeschel, who is a pastor of I think it's the largest church in the country, and called Live Church TV. And in the book, he talks about that there's a new wave of people, and they're Christian atheists. And what he means by that is they say they would believe in God, yet they don't. Their lives would not say that they believe in God, and so would profess to be Christian, but yet there's nothing about their life and the decisions they make and the places they go and how they choose to live their everyday life that would cause people to think that that's who they are. So verbally, they are, but they are an atheist by how they actually live their life and how they do their business and how they go about living day to day in their relationships with members of the opposite sex and so forth. And um, so we may hit on that a bit, and then at the end, I'm going to challenge and put out there a thought. If students are interested, I want to start a discipleship group. I've had a discipleship group, and so I want to kind of rebirth what that looks like. And so this summer, I'm going to put a sign up, and it's going to be for a group as far as how do we engage in the world that we are living in, and how do we follow and try to be more like Jesus, and how do we not only say we believe in Jesus, but we live lives that are shaped by who Jesus called us to be and what Jesus wants us to do and how he wants us to live. and it'll kind of be based on the book by Craig, and then also be based on this new book that's been out called Love Does. And how do we as Christians not just, once again, say, but we actually do things that makes a difference in people's lives. And we don't wait around and we don't wait for somebody else to do it, but we do it. And sometimes it can be something simple and sometimes it can be something huge. And our intern, AJ, is going to help us with that as well. And so tonight I'm going to kind of set the course for summer and for this group, and how we engage in missions every day and throughout the summer, and what that looks like, and being a part of really making a difference, an ongoing difference, something that will last, not just on a week trip, but for the rest of potentially life, but at least the next school year, and allow students to shape that, and allow students to live into that, and allow students to drive that, so that it becomes a lifestyle rather than a trip. It becomes a way that I view the world, and a way that I choose to engage the world continually, rather than a week or weekend in whenever. And so the mission mindedness of it is going to be huge, and so it's all going to be about how do we be the best follower, how do we follow after Jesus closely, and then live into what that means with our lives, and not just with our head knowledge, and not just with our mouth, but how we live and how we view the world and how we interact and what we do about the things that we see around us that need to be done. So that's what tonight is. We're going to watch this video, talk a lot about that, and how do we, once again, engage the scripture and with our lives, rather than just with our mind and with our mouth. So I'm super excited, like I said, with the launch, or with the thought of getting a group of teens signed up who are interested in meeting potentially weekly this summer, whether it be for lunch or before Wednesday night or on Sunday afternoon, and say, you know what, I'm ready to do more than just to give lip service, but I really want to be a deep follower and understand what it looks like to live this out. So that's what tonight is. Just a few announcements here at the end. Elevate stuff is due. If you haven't turned it in, you need to soon. Camp is coming up this summer, and you may have noticed that we haven't announced a mission trip per se, but and there's a lot of different reasons for that, but kind of what I just talked about. We want to try to start to create an ethic of mission, and how do we do that each and every day. So there's going to be several mission opportunities this summer in our local community, and kind of go at it like that. But we are going to try to all go to camp, and we want this to be kind of a centering time for our group. And instead of different people going on different trips, if we can all go on one trip in the summer, this is the one we want it to be on. So camp's coming up June 8th through the 11th. It's a Saturday to a Tuesday, and those forms and money will be due in a couple of weeks, as well as senior trip is coming up. We're doing a senior trip in June, and we're going down to Rocky Point and working with our new partnership down there. And I'll have information tonight to hand out. The trip will be $150, and we're doing a lot of cool stuff and working with Pastor Miguel. If you weren't at Mercy Project Sunday, talked about the new partnership and doing potentially like Jesus Film and helping in different things that they're doing while we're down there. So,
and yours don't exist, Pluto. Okay. Come on, I guess I'm just a misfit, huh? Yeah. Do I come in right now? No? Do I come in right
now? Those are the things coming up. And let me know if you have any questions. If not, I will talk to you later. See ya.